Day 30 result. Hey, welcome back to Carnivore Girly, and today is our 30-day mark. I'm really excited because I've made it 30 days with very minimal eating outside of carnivore. I've been very strict besides my fermented vegetables because I do believe our gut needs some fermented vegetables, and fermenting gets rid of like a lot of the bad stuff like the oxalates and the anti-nutrients and all that, and just makes it more nutritious for us and gives us those probiotics and prebiotics and microbes. So other than the fermented, I've stayed pretty serious carnivore for 30 straight days, and I'm going to show you my results. Now, it is hotter than a monkey's butt out here. It is July 2nd. It's not there yet, but it's supposed to be like 107-degree heat index, so it's hot. Thankfully, my husband put me up some fans this week. Probably not just me. He put them for everybody, but I enjoy them more than everybody else. So let's talk about it. So I have been eating in a window from about 7:30 to 3:30. Now, every day doesn't go that way. Some days, like today, we have a family party. We have our family 4th of July get together, and we're not eating till like 6 or 7 o'clock. So I'm scooting that window back, and I'm going to have my first meal around noon and then finish it off then. I usually eat earlier in the morning because insulin is more sensitive in the morning, and your body just like processes it better, and you have a longer time to metabolize it before bedtime. I've also read a lot of stuff about like in the evenings, 1 calorie is like eating 6 calories if you eat it like late at night before bed. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to hamper my progress just by changing my eating window. So I usually have a good breakfast, and then about 3:30ish I'll have dinner. Something like a steak with scrambled eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. Or, I'll mix it up. I'll have ribs or brisket or a smoked chicken or something like that. But I do have a family of 6, so I do a lot of cooking, and usually I make meat, and then I make side dishes for like everybody else. And so I might make me a steak, but they're going to have a baked potato or a salad with that steak. So after 30 days, I am down 18 pounds. Very happy with those numbers now. Are those normal numbers? I don't know, maybe. I think they're pretty good numbers. But I don't think it was all fat loss, obviously. There was water weight because I was camping when I started, and we were drinking sodas all day, and we were eating s'mores and, all the junk because it's my last hurrah. Have you ever went on a diet and you're like, I need that last hurrah so I can get in all the junk food that I'm not going to eat for, however long. And so I was having a last hurrah. And so some of it I'm sure was water weight, and there was a lot of inflammation. If you watch any of my last videos, I have a leg, my right leg, I always called my bad leg, because for some reason, all of a sudden, it just swelled up, and it was like twice the size of my other leg, and I went to the doctor because at times I couldn't even walk on it. It was so sore, and I couldn't straighten my knee, and I had thousands and thousands of dollars in testing. They thought it was a blood clot, and then they thought it might be cancer, and then they told me, well, I think it's just an autoimmune disease, just take ibuprofen when it gets to hurting. And so I never really got a definitive answer on what it was. The last thing I heard was myositis, which is like a muscle wasting disease, and I don't think that's what it is because my leg hasn't wasted. I still feel like that was kind of a weird one to just say go home and take an ibuprofen. They did call me later and say, hey, you know what, we're going to do some muscle biopsies, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm not dying. I'm going to back off and just, deal with it. And then I got to noticing whenever I eat healthy, it does not hurt. So, and when I would get low in iron, because I tend to be a low in iron girly. If I'm not eating a lot of meat and I'm not taking iron supplements, my bones hurt. Like my fingers, my toes, my leg, it would just really hurt. And so I started taking my iron supplements more regularly, and I started eating meat. But that is one of the best side effects I've had, other than the 18 pounds of weight loss. My leg does not hurt anymore. It is actually shrunk to just about the size of the other leg. Now, it is also like my dominant side, so I think it would be bigger anyway, but it's about the same size now. When used to, I had to try on pants to make sure my leg would fit in the pants. Yeah, that's crazy. But a lot of times if they were like more fitted jeans, my leg would not fit. And it was so ridiculous. And if I did wear fitted jeans, people would be like, what's wrong with your leg? And I'm like, I don't know. But it is shrunk down, and I have absolutely no pain in that leg. No pain in the knee. I can now straighten it. Now, I used to be like a gymnast when I was younger, and I was very athletic, and I never had any pain or anything like that. And so I'm very limber, and I can stretch and do everything with that knee, and it does not hurt me at all. So that's fantastic. Also, I was having a lot of joint pain, like in my hands and in my feet, and especially like in my ankles. And when I get up in the morning, it'd take me like 5 minutes of walking around. I said until like I greased the joints, like I would just be like, oh, and I thought it was just getting older. But apparently it was a ton of inflammation. And I feel like all that inflammation is gone. Like, I don't hurt. Like, if I had to tell you how old I feel like I'm probably like 25. Like, I do not hurt at all. I have so much energy, which, if you can tell from the way I talk, I have a lot of energy anyway. I don't need coffee. I don't need caffeine. I have boatloads of energy. Pretty sure it's the ADHD, but you know, I have that going on too. And I'll talk about that one here in a second. So, yeah, the inflammation gone is fantastic. Now, I did sneak back one time and I ate, what I ate? Oh, I ate like a bite of cake. And I kid you not, 10 minutes later, I couldn't walk up my stairs. Because when it's out of your body, like, your body attacks it like, what the heck is this? And that's what my body did. Like, within 10 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh. And I couldn't walk up the stairs. Now, within an hour, I was back to normal and I felt fine. And I was like, I ain't doing that again. That was pretty pitiful because I had a party going on and I had people in my house and I couldn't walk up my stairs. I was like, this is psychotic. So anyway, yeah, I really love sugar. I love sugar and I love carbs, but they do not love me and they don't love my body, and my body just reacts negatively to them. So eating this way is just very helpful for like feeling great. Like, I feel fantastic. Pant size. Now, I'm sure I have lost a pant size, but I was wearing, my clothes were like insanely too tight. Like, they did not fit. And I was determined I was not buying bigger pants. And I did the trick I did when I was pregnant. So have you ever taken like a hair tie and you wrapped the button and then threw the hole and then wrapped the button again? So it gave you like an extra like 2 or 3 inches on your pants. That's what I was doing. I don't have to do that anymore. So, and I was wearing, it's summer, I was wearing a lot of cloth shorts and, you know, stretchy shorts, which were also not fitting well, but you know, you can kind of get away with it a little more there. So, down 18, all that inflammation's gone, all the pain in my body is gone. I'm sure I've lost at least a pant size, but again, my pants didn't fit and now they fit, so I'm gonna assume I've lost about a pant size. I can't really talk about like the anxiety side of it and everything, because I've heard so many people talk about their anxiety left and they were less stressed. And I'm a teacher on summer break. My stress level is here right now. So when I go back to work and I'm dealing with kids and teaching math all day and being literally locked in a room, because that's what we do nowadays. We lock us in rooms, and you know, we're stuck in this room all day long and we're only allowed to leave during like our prep and lunch. Yeah, then we'll talk more about how the anxiety or the stress level's going. But right now during the summer, I am living fancy free. I'm good to go. So there's not a lot of stress. But I will say, I think way more clearly. Like, I was really at the end of the school year, like, I'm done. I am so burnt out. I'm so over it. I'm never going back again. You know, it takes me about a month to get over that. I have about a month where I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not doing it next year. I am done. And then about a month into summer break, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going back. It's fine. I'm good now. I've restored my mental capacities and everything, and I feel better. But I'm not searching for words. Like, I couldn't come up with super easy words. I'd be in a conversation and all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, what's that word? And I was just really getting very bad about it. I told my husband, I was like, I feel like I have Alzheimer's or something because I can't come up with words. And, I've, upped the fats, upped the protein, got rid of all the sugars, got rid of all the carbs, and all the anti-nutrients, the oxalates, all that stuff. And my brain is firing really well. I'm thinking very clearly, and I just feel great. So I don't know how else to talk about it, but I feel great. I'm super happy with my results. And I can't wait for 60 days so I can do another 60-day video and be like, okay, there's where we were, here's where we are now. So I'm super excited about that one. I will talk about for a minute, I have done every single diet under the sun. Because I used to be, like I said, I was a gymnast, I was an athlete, I did all that stuff, and I was in fantastic shape when I married my husband at I think I was 21. Yes, 21 when I got married. I am now 43. I don't know if I've said that, but I'm 43. But I feel like I'm 25 when I don't hurt. But anyway, yeah, I was working out 5 times a week. I was buff. I was in amazing shape. I think I weighed about 132 to 135 was probably my average, but it was muscle. Like, it was muscle. And then since then, I just slowly, like, on that sad diet, all those years, and having kids. I was pregnant 5 times, but we have 4 kids. That's a different story. We lost one before our little girl. And yeah, and actually that goes into the story too, because over the years I kept, you'd hear the new diet craze, and I was up for it. So I probably started keto was probably my first one, but I didn't know there was a right and wrong way to do keto, and I was doing the keto snacks and all the cheese and all the bacon and all that stuff. And I mean, and I would lose a little bit, but then you're like, I'm tired of eating this way. I'm going to go back to the other way. And so then I go back and, I gain every bit of it back. I tried the South Beach. I don't know if you remember the South Beach. It may still be a thing, but it was like low fat, low sugar, low carb. And so you pretty well ate like chicken breast and broccoli. And after about 3 days of chicken breast and broccoli, you're out. You don't want to do it anymore. And so that one did not last very long, because I was like, I don't even, no. I don't really like chicken breast that much. It's dry if you don't cook it right. So I did that one. I did actually, after I had a miscarriage at like 11 or 12 weeks, and we were on the beach. And after that, I went almost complete vegan. Like, I ate very little meat because I thought meat was the devil. And I thought that if I could just get on to eating beans and quinoa and all the healthy vegetables and all that, I would be healthy again. And it did not go that way. I ended up getting horrible cystic acne. Like, I've never had acne. I've always had clear skin, except for maybe a zit, once a month. But all the way all through here, and it was horribly painful. And it was like underneath the skin, big red angry blotches that I could not get rid of. During that time, I was eating lots of chia seeds and lots of flax seeds, which has tons of phytoestrogens in it. And certain sources will tell you it does not affect your estrogen. Certain sources would lie it does. And I became extremely estrogen dominant. And trying to get over that, once I realized what was going on, I gained a tire around my middle and gained a lot of weight because my hormones were here, there, and everywhere, because it didn't know how to handle this. And I'm a really good cook. Like, I cooked very good vegan meals. They took forever because there were so many pieces to it. Like, I would make a eggplant like it was a steak, and then I would make like a special quinoa to go with it with mangoes in it, and a special salsa on the side, and like very elaborate meals that would take hours. And no one liked them really but me, because I was like, oh, this is so healthy. And they'd eat bits and pieces. But I have 3 boys and a girl, and at the time I didn't have the girl yet, but I had 3 older boys, and they were not going to eat quinoa and eggplant. They just weren't going to do it. So the vegan was probably the worst I ever did. It took me a long time to come back from that, and it really screwed up my hormones. And I literally was just listening to all the information they've told us over the years, like, hey, this is the way you should be eating for your health. And I still trusted. Like, I was still a very trusting person. Like, okay, if this is what they say is right for us, this is how we should be eating. And it was completely just wrong. I also did an Optavia. I think it was called Optavia. I had some people and some friends I knew that were selling it, and even like a local pastor of a big church was like selling it and promoting it online. And it was like it was 1,000 calories a day, I think, diet. And so you're pretty well starving yourself. But you ate every 3 hours, and you ate like a little package of processed foods. Sounds super healthy. But anyway, it was like 100-calorie process of cookies. Or the next one you'd have a 100-calorie biscuit. Or you'd have 100-calorie, I can't even think of any more of them. I don't know, 100-calorie chips. And that was like your food all day long. And then I think you had like one normal meal, but it had to be like 6 ounces of protein and like a vegetable or something. And it was so terrible, so terrible. But I knew so many people that did it and lost weight. But then as soon as they get off it, they gained it all back. I think I still know 1 person, maybe 2, that I knew that were on it, that they didn't stay on it. They lost the weight, and then they went to a healthier lifestyle, and they kept it off. So kudos for them. They did. One of them's, I think, a bodybuilder now. Like, they went like full on protein. So I think they went the other direction, but they did originally lose their weight that way. And it was hundreds of dollars a month, hundreds, because you bought all your food in a little package and ate it every 3 hours. I did the GLP-1. It wasn't the GLP-1 shot. It was a semaglutide. I actually went to a weight loss clinic, and I only did it for I want to say 6 to 8 months. And I did not lose weight. And I think part of the problem was, I look back, and the doses they were giving me were very minute. Like, this weight loss clinic was trying to make like a customer for a very, very long time, so you could just very slowly go up. So even after 6 to 8 months, I was on a smaller dose than some people I knew were at the beginning. So that may have been part of the problem. But I lost like maybe 5 or 6 pounds, like in 6 to 8 months, which was devastating because I was spending a lot of money. It was out of pocket. So I paid everything fully out of pocket to this place every month, and it was hundreds of dollars because I was that desperate. Because I felt ugly. I was not comfortable in my body. I didn't want to get up and get dressed in the morning because nothing fit right. So anyway, I did that, and I just didn't lose any weight. And I was doing everything. I was getting up in the morning, and I was running 2 to 3 miles every morning. I was knocking back protein. I was trying to watch what I ate. I was staying in a calorie deficit. At night, I was walking, and I'm a very active person anyway. I'd go on bike rides with my kids. We'd play pickleball. We played badminton, all kinds of stuff, and I was not losing any weight, and I really didn't look better. I think I may have lost like close to a pant size in that whole 6 to 8 months, but I was also miserable, and I felt sick and gross every single day. So I don't know if everybody feels sick, but I constantly felt like at any time I could puke. Like I felt terrible even on that little bitty dose. And I told them I'm starving all the time. I would go in and they're like, why are you not losing weight? And they eventually took me off it. They're like, you're not losing weight. So if you don't lose weight by next month, you're done. And I just didn't come back because I didn't lose weight. And I was doing everything you were supposed to do. Like I was that ADHD. I was following it to the T, like perfection. I wasn't cheating and I was not losing weight. And I was so upset, but I was also starving all the time. And, that's part of like your hormones being screwed up, like your leptin and your ghrelin. Is that right? They're messed up. If you're starving all the time, you're never satiated, like your hormones are probably screwed up. And so mine were completely out of whack, which I was also super stressed out. That was when we sold our old house and we actually moved in with my father-in-law for probably 5 or 6 months because we sold it so quick we had nowhere to go. And we were living with him. And there was 3 bedrooms for 7 of us. And it was tight and it was crazy. And then we bought the house we're in now, and it was in extreme disrepair. And it was so mentally taxing. So that was probably a problem too, was it was just so stressful that when you're stressed out, you're not going to lose weight because your body goes into like preservation mode, and it goes into let's keep this weight on because I need to protect myself in case there's a famine, because we have famines all the time here in America, in the Midwest. No, our problem is we have too much food, but our bodies don't know that. And so I was literally hungry. Like I could eat a huge meal, and like 30 minutes later, I'd be like, gosh, I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. And so just nothing worked. And so my husband actually came home one day from a training, and he said, hey, there were some cops there, and they've lost a ton of weight, and they're in fantastic shape. And they're doing this thing called the carnivore. And I was like, the carnivore? I was like, what is that? And he's like, they just eat meat. And I was like, they just eat meat. He's like, yeah, I think meat and eggs and maybe some cheese. He's like, that's it. That's all they eat. He's like, and they're like, it's the best thing they've ever done. They feel amazing. He's like, they're in great shape. They work out all the time now because they feel good. And I was like, but they're probably going to die. I was like, you can't eat just meat because we've been programmed that meat is not healthy for us. When in fact, like, it's the most nutritious thing we can eat for our bodies. But we've not been conditioned that way. We've been conditioned that it's bad and we need to cut it out. And it's killing the planet and it's killing us. It's causing heart disease. This is how we've been programmed, but the programming is all wrong. So I went into a deep dive. That was the ADHD. I got into a hyperfixation mode. And my husband and I learned more about the carnivore than he probably ever would have cared to learn about it. But I was like, this is working. Why is it working? And I thought it was also probably just a short-term thing. Like, okay, kind of like keto or, something like they're doing this to lose the weight and then they'll go back to normal. Like, you're willing to do a lot of shady stuff for a short period of time to like lose weight if you're that desperate, GLP-1. So we're willing to do a lot of stuff like that just to, get it. And I don't know, the GLP-1, it probably works for other people. It just didn't work for me. But yeah, after I got into researching it, I was like, this is the healthiest way you can eat. I was like, how have we never known this? And I just kept researching and I found people like Ken Berry and Kelly Hogan and Dr. Chafee and Sean O'Mara and Dr. Kiltz and the Steak and Butter gal, all them. And I was like, holy cow, people just live like this, like forever. Like this is how they eat. And again, when you're used to eating, like I'm a sugar addict. I would literally, I love Diet Dr. Pepper. I would drink it all day long. Like I would never drink water. I would literally just have me a big one beside me and I would drink it all day long. I love cookies. I'm an amazing baker. I used to make cakes and cookies and pies and sell them. like at farmers markets. Like, I'm a very good baker, and I love everything. There's not a food out there I don't like, even if it's a vegetable, if it's a meat, if it's a cookie, if it's a bread, whatever it is, as long as it's cooked well, I'm gonna like it, I'm gonna eat it, which, different. But I'm the least picky person alive, which is, like I said, I'm a good cook, so that helps. But I was just, the more I researched, I was just intrigued. Like, this is insane. And like within like a week or two, I was like, we're doing this. We are doing this. And he was like, no, we're not doing this. I was just making conversation. I was like, oh, we're doing it. So we started doing it together, but he didn't do it very long. He wasn't really interested, and he wasn't, into it. But I had all this pain in my joints, and I had this weight I couldn't lose, and my brain felt stupid because I couldn't come up with words. And I was like, I'm doing it. I am doing it. And I actually did do it for about a year and a half. However, on and off, I had a lot of cheat days here and there because, oh, it's someone's birthday. Oh, it's a holiday. Oh, it's this. I also never gave up the diet sodas. I did not eat in an eating window. And I ate a lot of cheese, a lot of dairy. I had a big coffee full of butter and heavy cream and MCT oil every morning. And I did lose weight. Like, I probably lost, I'm going to go with 25, 30-ish pounds. And I felt phenomenal. I felt absolutely phenomenal. But I never lost all the weight I wanted to lose. But still, I lost more than I'd lost with any other program I tried. But 25 to 30 pounds is pretty good. I started at, back then I think I was about 185 to 190 when I started. So I was down to like 160, which is the lowest I had been in years. And probably Thanksgiving-ish, in 2025, Thanksgiving-ish to Christmas. I work at a school, and I watch people, like, schools are the worst place. If you look, I think I looked it up once, and like, teachers are like one of the number one professions for being obese, because everybody says thank you with food, and we eat public school food. And I mean, there's just snacks everywhere, and candies everywhere, and donuts in the break room, and there's just junk food everywhere. And I had avoided it for so long and watched everybody else enjoying it, and I was like, I ain't losing the weight I want. I'm stuck. I might as well just eat. It started as like a day of, I'm just going to cheat, which turned to 2 days, which turned to 3 days, which turned to about probably 2 months of me eating really, really good all day. And then at night I would crash. And then I was on that sugar addiction again, where I felt like I needed something every single day. So I do great all day. And then after dinner, late at night, I was snacking. And then I got to the point I just got so disgusted. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to eat what I want. I'll get back on it eventually. So I probably went through about 6 months of just eating whatever I wanted. I felt terrible. My leg got huge again, swelled up. My joints hurt. I couldn't walk up the stairs. I just felt sick. I come home and I would crash and feel like I needed a nap after work every single day. I didn't play with my kids as much because I was exhausted. Like, we didn't play games anymore. We didn't do a lot of stuff because I was just exhausted and felt gross. I just really did. And so, I think it was the picture that I've got on the front, that was Mother's Day. And my family posted those pictures, and I was like, oh my gosh. And that is the heaviest I've ever been. I was a little over 200 pounds because I gained all my weight back and then some in those 6 months. But again, I was not Dairy Queen probably 2 or 3 times a week, and sodas all day long, and I got to like 3 sodas a day, and it was not going well for me. And so I don't even look happy in the photo. And I actually didn't think I looked bad when I left the house and I saw that photo, and I was like, oh crap, we're taking photos. I hate taking photos. Because I don't know about you, but usually, some people say like they have a fat complex. Like, oh, I always think I look fat. I did not. I always thought I looked decent, like I was skinnier. And then someone would post a picture of me and I'd be like, is that what I look like? And I'd ask my husband sometimes, do I actually look like that? He's like, how do you want me to answer that? It's a picture of you. Of course you look like that. And I'm like, I really liked that shirt. I thought it looked good in that shirt. That shirt goes in the back of the closet, didn't get wore again. And so it got to the point sometimes when I go to family dinners, I wouldn't wear a shirt that I really liked, that I thought I looked good in, because I knew by the end of that one, they'd post a picture of me. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I looked like that in that shirt. My husband's family was the worst, because they take pictures every time you go somewhere. And I'm usually not in the picture, like, I'm in the background going like, looking like 500 pounds. That's the pictures that get posted that I'm like, okay, great. To the point that I usually open them up and I just scroll through. I'm like, all right, where's the fat picture, Jennifer? Because I know it's in here. Ah, there it is. There it is. And so, anyway, that's kind of how we got onto it. And like I said, I seem to do best when I make it easy. Like, don't make it hard. Like, there's all kinds of like carnivore foods you can make out there. Like, you can make the carnivore breads, and you can make the chaffles, and you can make the cheese sticks, and you can make all these things. But I seem to like stall my weight loss when I do those. When I just stick to like meat and eggs and like very little dairy, like just a tiny bit of cheese maybe as a condiment. Oh, and my ferments. Like, I lose weight so much better, and I feel so much better. But when I try to make it complicated and I try to make snacks and eat tons of butter and all this, I don't do as well. So I do eat fatty meat, but I don't eat sticks of butter, and I don't drink coffee anymore. I quit the coffee with the dairy and the butter and the MCT oil in it, and I may, add it back in someday when I get to my goal weight, because I do like coffee. But I've also noticed, I feel like since I've quit it, like my skin looks better. Like, I don't, because coffee dehydrates you. I don't feel like I'm as dehydrated, and like I don't get, and actually, this will be another story for another time. I almost died of dehydration once. So I'm like really susceptible to dehydration. And if I don't drink enough, I just easily get headaches and don't feel well. But that'll be a story for another time. Nice little Dr. Error birth story for you that I'll give you someday. But anyway, yeah. So I'm glad you stuck around. And I hope you stick around to see the progress that keeps going. I'm going to end up this video with just like a montage of some different food that I ate for my first month, and how I got to this point. And we're just going to keep on going, and we're going to watch the scale go down, and we're going to eat a lot of good food and have a lot of fun, because I usually post some pictures of my family. I'm going to redo our upstairs bathroom here in just a little bit. We got a bunch of yard projects that I'll just add in, and probably baseball. We're getting ready to go to district or division championships next week, and then we got district, and then we got state if we make it that far again. We did last year. I think we will this year. So we got some fun baseball coming. My oldest is getting ready to be in a play. He is in 9 to 5. He is actually in school to be for theater and acting. He actually has a genius IQ, but he doesn't like anything. He started in pre-med, and he switched to acting because it's what he loves. And I kind of support it. I really kind of do, because if you're in a job that you hate, it makes every day a little harder and a little more stressful. And I would really like my kids to do something that they're passionate and they love. And if, you know what, it doesn't work, you tried. You tried, and you did everything you could to make it work. And if, you can always pivot and try something new if it needs to be. But anyway, I thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Happy eating!